Hollywood sold the Cowboy as freedom. The ledger says he made about $1 a day. This is a case file on the real economics of a trailhand. The myth is a man on horseback, wind in his face, no boss, no walls. The evidence says something else. Look at the month of June 1873. A hand named J.W. Freeman scribbled his earnings in a daybook. One entry, wages $30, board, bound $30. For a month of lightning storms, stampeding longhorns, and bad water that could kill a man inside a week. So why would anyone take that deal? Why risk months away from home for pocket change? The answer hides in two words. The same two words scrawled next to that wage entry. And found. That is the thread we will follow. Because the Cowboy's financial life was not about income, it was about outgo, or the lack of it. And by the time we close this file, you will see your own bills differently. We open the case with the pay stub itself. What did a cowboy actually earn? The Oklahoma Historical Society keeps the receipts. Across the peak trail era, roughly 1866 to 1886, a top hand could expect about $30 a month, plus board. That board part is crucial, and we will get to it. First, the raw cash. The Journal of Farm Economics examined wage ledgers from Texas ranches. The number keeps coming up, $30 a month. Sometimes a bit less for a greenhorn, a bit more for a trail boss. On a long drive, say, the Chisholm Trail from Texas to Kansas, the pay was often structured as a lump sum. About $100 for the trip, $100 for up to 3 months of dust, sleet deprivation, and 17-hour days in the saddle. If you do the arithmetic in your head, that works out to roughly $1 a day. But that rough figure hides almost everything. It hides what the cowboy had to buy just to show up. It hides what he didn't have to buy because the cattle company provided it. And it hides the real moneymaker, which was not the wage at all. So let's pull out the gear list. Exhibit A, the working kit of a trail cowboy. Before he could even hire on, he needed boots. A pair of solid leather boots in the 1870s cost somewhere between $5 and $10. We'll split the difference and call it $7.50. Next, the hat. Now the costume piece. A wide-brimmed hat kept the sun off his neck and the rain out of his eyes. Price, about $4. Spurs, $2.50. Chaps, to protect his legs from brush and horns, another $6. Add a sturdy saddle, if the ranch didn't issue one. That could run $25 to $30, a full month's pay right there. Many outfits supplied the horse and saddle, but the hand still needed his personal gear. That initial buy-in could easily eat $50 before he ever threw a leg over a bronc. Now pull out that $30 monthly wage. Subtract the one-time boots. Subtract the hat. Subtract the hat. Subtract the spurs and chaps. If he bought his own saddle, he was already in debt before the herd started moving. The math doesn't work, and yet men lined up at the hiring pens in San Antonio, Fort Worth, and Dodge City. They weren't fools. So what did they know that the numbers alone don't show? That brings us to the two-word alibi, and found. In 19th century employment contracts, and found meant room and board were provided by the employer. For a cowboy, that meant a bedroll in the bunkhouse, 3 meals a day, and often laundry and basic medical care. On the trail, found meant the cook's wagon fed him. It meant he slept on the ground under a canvas tarp the outfit supplied. He didn't pay rent. He didn't buy groceries. He didn't pay for water or fuel. When you zero out those line items, the calculation changes entirely. A modern worker might spend half or more of their income on housing, food, and other living costs. The cowboy spent nothing on those. His $30 cash wage was almost entirely discretionary income. Let me restate that. Almost every cent of his paycheck was spendable on whatever he wanted. After the one-time gear cost, some economic historians estimate the value of found at an extra $10 to $15 per month. That means his total compensation package sat closer to $40 or $45. But because the living costs were already handled, he never saw them leave his pocket. This reframes the entire investigation. The cowboy wasn't broke. He simply lived in an economic structure where most of what we call bills didn't exist. He had a line on a ledger that read $30 and a note next to it that effectively erased rent, groceries, and utilities. Now, one question remains. Why risk the trail at all? If the monthly wage was decent but not spectacular, what made a man spend months eating dust and dodging stampedes? That's where the cattle market enters the case file. In Texas, a mature longhorn steer sold for about $2 a head, maybe $2.50. There were millions of them, but no rail lines to get them to eastern cities. Supply was high, demand local, prices low. But if you could push a herd 600 miles north to a Kansas railhead, Abilene, Dodge City, Wichita, that same steer might fetch $30 to $40. The spread was enormous. A trail boss or an investor could buy cattle in Texas for $2, sell them in Kansas for $30, and clear a small fortune. Cowboys weren't typically the owners of the herd, but that profit motive trickled down. Some outfits paid a bonus upon delivery. Smart hands could bring along a few of their own cattle, maybe one per hundred, and sell them at the northern price. 3 or 4 steers could net a cowboy more money than his entire trail wage. And even without that, the promise of a job well done meant winter employment at the ranch, back in the bunkhouse, with bound continuing right through the cold months. So the cowboy's true income was a mix, a small cash wage, a hidden room and board benefit, and a gamble on the cattle spread that could pay off handsomely. It wasn't poverty. It was a calculated risk in a world without monthly bills. Now we close the case with a question for you. Pull out your own monthly expense list. Rent or mortgage, groceries, car payment or transit, insurance, internet, phone, utilities, subscription services. Those numbers stack fast. Most of us chase higher income to outrun those bills. The cowboy didn't chase higher income. He lived in a system where the bills were gone before he even started. His $30 a month bought boots, a few drinks in a cow town, maybe a new shirt. It didn't buy a fridge full of food or a roof over his head because those were already provided. So the final verdict in this case file is not a number. It's a shift in how you look at your own financial life. The Cowboy Ledger asks a question that has survived 150 years. Would you rather have more money or fewer bills? The cowboy's choice was fewer bills. And in that dusty, dangerous, beautiful existence, he found something that looks a lot like freedom. Not the Hollywood kind, but the real kind that comes when your outgo is small and your time is your own. Case closed. For now,